Christianity became legal to when Christianity became state religion is literally like 75, 80 years. I've been doing a bit of research more about the Roman Empire, specifically Christianity's like rise. It's kind of crazy how fast it happened. And it's not just because everyone was like, oh my gosh, Christianity is so great. Like there's a lot of people, obviously, but like Christians were a minority, and then all of a sudden they became the state religion in like a really, really short amount of time. So obviously it took like 300 years for like Christianity to like actually become a thing from like the end of Jesus. Basically from the time that Christianity became legal to when Christianity became the state religion is literally like 75, 80 years. Keep in mind, Christians were the minority, like straight up very, very small minority. So it's not like all of a sudden everyone was just kind of like, we're all Christian now. It was actually forced upon them from the state. Their wealth and their property and stuff was really tied to being able to exploit Christians. Because it was illegal, their properties got, taken away, their like wealth, everything. And it was like then given to the, elder, wealthy aristocrats during that time. Christianity was made legal. What was actually really interesting was that the emperor at the time, Constantine, I think Constantine did it. Because the one before was like really crazy, and he ended up like making Christianity legal again because he was like, your God is making me sick. Pray to your God to make me better. Anyway, there was a law that was put into place for restitution. All of the property, all the things that were taken away from certain Christians during the time that it was illegal was being forced to give back to the Christians. And they even had a buyback program run by the government or, the state, the empire. Whether or not you wanted to, you were still forced to sell. They would only promote people like within the army and within other government roles if they converted Christian. If you wanted to be anywhere, you had to convert. Then that started happening in the army and stuff too. And actually, it was during this time of turning Christianity as the state religion that the core belief of Christianity to not be part of wars, like the Christian groups at that time, prior to basically the state taking hold of it, was extremely anti-war, like 100% across the board. We should not go to war and hurt one another. When that switched over to the Constantine rule, it all of a sudden turned into, you are Jesus's soldier. We need to fight for him because of being persecuted ourselves, or that we need to go spread the word to others. And if they don't believe, we must force them to believe because we are God's warriors. And by the way, that worked, right? It worked. Like there's the story of Constantine, like seeing a vision or whatever of a cross. And like, that was the story of him being like, he was chosen from God to say like, this is the main God. And the Romans were an extremely superstitious people, extremely superstitious with gods, in general gods, many, many gods. Most of Romans thought that the Jewish Christian God was just another God. Like, they didn't care. It's like, join the pack. It actually is not really a big deal. Just like the other emperor who was like, please pray to your God to save me. There were some like uprisings because you would be like, whoa, if they're the minority, then what's the majority doing over here? Like, they're just going to let it happen. Everyone was used to knowing that there were many gods and many different beliefs, and everyone was kind of accepted. Very Roman in the fact that everyone had secular beliefs. That's where it all went wrong as far as propaganda and manipulation goes. It is so much easier when you have an organized minority than when you have a disorganized and chaotic majority, because you just really, 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 really need a group of just hardcore, it's making it happen. And also, by the way, we're helping you do it because we're giving you land, we're giving you money, and we're giving you power. Little by little, but not really little by little, all of a sudden, very, very quickly, if you weren't Christian, now that's illegal. It went from Christianity is illegal to now you must be Christian or else it's illegal in 80 years. When Christianity was illegal, the common beliefs of Christianity versus the now common beliefs of Christianity when the state took over is almost completely opposite. The belief of holding to a one God rule and therefore hierarchy into if I have God's ear or if I am closer to God than you, then I am of authority here on earth. I have no problem with Christianity. In fact, I love it. But pre-Empire War Christianity, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I bring this all up because the things that I'm seeing in the news right now is really making me think about this pattern, why it's actually really important to recognize this part of it. Just now touching on people thinking about Christian nationalism. And not just, people were thinking about it before, but like Christians are picking up on it. We have other Christians in this country who are noticing Christian nationalism as something that is extremely unsafe and should be stopped. There's now becoming a division between Christians and MAGA Christians. MAGA Christians is its own sect within Christianity, just as Christianity was a sect within Judaism. Basically 250 of those 300 years, okay? So Christianity was much more Jewish than it was Christian at that time, still, okay? Even though it was a sect, it overcame and became, it didn't overcome Judaism, obviously, but you get what I'm saying, the people in the land and then the other things, it all, went up into the biggest thing ever. Sorry, I'm getting distracted because Jasper. So anyway, MAGA Christians. There's not really any other title that would be in place right now, and people kind of get it with that association. They're making their own religion right now, you guys. They literally are. They're going to use all the same actors and things like that, but wow. They've completely changed the oral traditions of what's Christian and what's Christianity. And basically, just as it was in, the medieval times when Christian people, they couldn't read. They couldn't read the Bible. So much happened there had to be major reformations from that time for the modern day Christianity. And when I say modern day, I mean let's just say the baseline, vanilla Christianity. That was the Reformation that needed to happen because the state got too out of control with using Christianity for controlling their people and also unjust wars and things like that. All right, we're wheeling that Christianity a little bit. Let's get back over here, right? Obviously, it's not always going to be 100%, but that was a huge moment in that. And in fact, any sort of Christian, understand the history of Christianity, knew that Martin Luther, who he was named after. There we go. Again, taking it back to what I'm seeing right now. There's a memo going around saying, this is real, you guys, this is real, saying that Trump was basically anointed by Jesus to do this and that he's here to start the Armageddon. You guys, what is happening? Apocalyptic beliefs were important for the state religion of Christianity, for the Roman Empire. There were, certain groups within the various Christian groups that were a bit more than others, just like every other religion, by the way. The responsibility of God is on them because there's an apocalypse happening and God's going to come here and get us. There's urgency there. There's urgency. And with urgency comes passion and comes collation and also comes, do what you gotta do. And usually do as you gotta do becomes convert or die. Keep an eye on this right now, y'all, because I think that there's going to be a lot of Christians within the MAGA base that, there already are many that are now leaving the MAGA base and being this is not what was presented basically to me. But keep in mind that there's still going to be the organized minority, right? And Trump only needs that organized minority. As we can see, it's doing quite a lot of impactful activities. Let's see if Christians want to keep their religion. And by the way, my Mormon buddies, there is no way in heck that MAGA Christians are going to let you be Mormon. There's a lot of Mormons who are Christian and in the MAGA base, but MAGA Christians are not going to let Mormons be Mormons. You get what I'm saying? Pope Leo, bless that guy. I'm about to convert because of him alone. But Pope Leo, the American Pope, is very anti-MAGA Trump. Like, he can't say it, obviously, but he aligns his words and his beliefs and also his suggestions, commandments, if you will, are in direct response to Trump administration decisions. If you think that MAGA man is going to let a people that essentially worship someone who has more authority and power, that is also saying don't do these things, yeah, that's not going to fly. So you're going to have to like get rid of those people because like that belief can't be part of it, you know? We are a Christian nation, you guys. We are already a Christian nation. Most everyone here is some form of Christian. But when it's Christian nationalism, that means one church. That means one church, one leader. That means one way of thinking. That means one rule book for them all. The Christian nation that the United States is would no longer cease to exist, okay? And now scene. Thank you.